everybody, and welcome back to our channel. I am in my car on my lunch break filming this video because honestly, I've tried to film it like 3 or 4 different times and just get interrupted at home, and I don't have the time, and I'm sorry. So today I'm on my lunch break. I'm filming this update that's long overdue, and I'm just gonna hop into it because it's probably a long story. So for those of you who follow us on Instagram, I had posted almost 3 months ago now that I quit my job and I started a new job, and everybody's been asking for the full story and the full details around all of the why and what happened and what are we doing now. And so that is what I'm here to tell you guys today. 2020 has been a crazy year for us as an entire world, but for us personally in our life. As you guys know, my father-in-law passed away at the end of January, and that is kind of where this story starts. So as like 2 or 3 days after my father-in-law passed away, my boss gave me a call while I was on bereavement leave and let me know that she had put in her 2-week notice and that she had accepted a position at a different company. And immediately that day, I started to think about what that future looked like for me. So clearly I was most fit and suited for her job. I had been working alongside her for the last 5 years, 6 years. I knew the ins and outs. I did a lot of the facets of it already and had been kind of being prepped for the role. But what I also knew about the organization that I was working for was that a lot of the decisions that are made are very driven by other factors outside of being qualified, doing the work. There's a lot of politically motivated components to how and why decisions are made. So as I was on the phone with my boss, at the time, Scott and I were driving to go have lunch and started talking about what that meant. Obviously, I was going to put my hat in the ring for her role, and that was my desire, was to stay there and to take that position. But I also knew the very real reality of what that looked like and why it may not work out. And so at that time, I made the decision to also start applying for other positions outside the organization that were in line with kind of my direction of growth, that were the same types of roles for what my boss's job was. With that, I started the interview process internally at my last employer as well as externally, and it was an interesting process to say the least. I interviewed at a couple different places, and while I was concurrently interviewing internally, and was excited about the opportunities. They were great positions and were more money than what I was making, but my hope in my heart was still that things would work out at my organization that I was at. So the long story short of it was that the 2 external places that I interviewed both gave me offers, and the internal position for where I was at, I actually got the offers for those jobs. It's kind of funny. God is so funny. He knew exactly what was happening, and the fact that I quit my job in the middle of a pandemic still makes me laugh, because I had been at my organization for 12 years and had a steady job, had no idea in my mind or heart that I would be moving to a different job at a different company this year. I would have never planned it, and the fact that it happened literally as COVID was happening is even the more funny of how you have to trust the Lord, even when it seems uncertain and crazy. And so my boss at the time had left. She'd been gone for about a month before they made the decision on how they wanted to replace her role. It was between myself and another girl who had not been at the organization as long. I'm not going to get into the semantics around all of it, but essentially the decision was made that she was more fit to run the department and take that role than I was. And it's laughable in a lot of ways, but that was the decision that was made, and I knew that that was probably how it was going to work. it was kind of funny. I'm in that meeting being told I'm not fit for the job. You know, I'm just not strong enough. I don't have the experience. I think the exact words that were used were, we envision you doing something different, which was not necessarily what I wanted to do. It's something I could have done. It's something I could have grown to. But just being told, you know, these are the things that we don't see fit for you. While all of that's happening, I had a voicemail on my phone from one of the companies that I had interviewed with an offer. And so it was just, I look at it now and I laugh, because God opens the right doors at the right times. And when someone is sitting here telling you, hey, you're just not good enough for this job, even though that wasn't the issue, there were so many other factors that drove to that decision. I already had another offer, and then I had two offers actually. The company that I decided to go with wrote me an offer the same day that I had my final interview, within 2 hours. And I share all of that to say, you know, obviously I made the decision to leave. It really was kind of funny, because it very much surprised my last organization. They did not think that I was ambitious enough to have been concurrently looking, and it didn't end on the best of terms, and I didn't give a full 2 week notice, and that was appropriate for how the chips fell. It was difficult. It was sad. I shed a lot of tears that things panned out the way that they did there. But the really funny thing, as I look back and Scott and I talk about it, is that it's a sad thing when the organization that you've worked for can't see the talent and can't see the value. Yet you go and spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour with another organization, and they see immediately how you can help them and literally write you an offer the same day. That to me is just kind of the irony of it all. So anyways, this all kind of happened the beginning of March, where I made the decision to take the role that I'm at now, and I couldn't be happier, truly. I've been at my new job for almost 3 months now, and it's been the best breath of fresh air. There are some things that are different. There are some things that I gave up with flexibility, you know, being able to work at home, different things like that. But when I put it on a scale and I looked at it, my peace of mind, the support, the growth, all of those things far outweighed what I was having to give up and walk away from. And so it's been just amazing as a mom, as a working mom, two girls and a little boy. My goal has always been to not only work to show them that, like, you can be a great mom, you can kill it at many things, but also to show them that what I'm pursuing is for me and for my satisfaction, for my growth, and to never settle because it's comfortable, and to never settle because someone says you can't do it. If you know that you can do it and you have the goods to back it up, you shouldn't be afraid to walk away when respect is no longer being served. And that's really what it came down to. And Emma really, she's at an age where she watched this all unfold. She saw what was happening with my last company, and she literally said, Mom, they don't get to tell you what your future looks like. And to me as a mom, that was like one of my proudest moments, that she at 8 years old recognizes that someone else doesn't get to tell you. She knows what mommy can do. She knows that I'm good at what I do, and that she said, you know, they don't get to tell you what your future looks like, Mom. That shows me that I'm doing the right thing and creating an example for her, that should she choose to pursue a career in the future, that no one else gets to dictate what her future looks like, regardless of how long you've been someplace or any of those other factors. If you are good and you know it and you have the goods to back it up, don't be afraid to pursue it. So that's really the snapshot of how this all unfolded. Like I said, I've now been at my new job for 3 months, and it's in a completely different industry. I moved from one industry to a totally different thing, and it's been a big learning curve, but truly I've been so happy. I feel rejuvenated in what I do. I feel that my work-life balance is so much better. The job pays better. It's closer to home. There's been a lot of big wins. I love the support that I have, the trust that I have. I'm managing a team that is young and growing and has so much potential, and it's been exciting to be given the full reins without any restrictions to really come in and mold them and make them better. And I love that, because that's where I get excited about what I'm doing. It's been a huge learning curve. It's been different. My hours are different. I work a little later now. I start a little later. But overall, we've just adjusted, and it's been fantastic. And so I hope that this story inspires you to just trust the Lord. If you feel in your heart that like you're being pushed in a direction or things aren't working, don't be afraid to take that step. I look back now, and it's always funny because you always wonder, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I listening to, the guidance of the Holy Spirit? Am I following the right steps? And I look back and I always see that it's been those gentle little things that have pushed me. Like the day that my boss called me, immediately in my heart and in my spirit, the Lord said, I want you to start looking and put feelers out there. And had that not happened, the timing when I was being told, you're not good enough, you're not going to get this job, we're going to hold you back, it wouldn't have aligned to literally having an out immediately, which was what I needed for myself, for my peace, for my growth, and for my future. And so I hope that covers everything. I feel like it's a lot. There's a lot of details in there that I'm not going to get into, because it doesn't matter honestly anymore how things ended. It just matters that it did happen the way it did, and I'm very happy about what decisions we made as a family. We're very happy about it, and I'm just excited about the future. And so I'm going to be doing an updated day in the life. I know it's really difficult, and I'm sorry. Like, as I mentioned, I work later now, so I'm not getting home till like 5:30, and then it's dinner time and bath time and bedtime, and I just don't have the effort at the end of the day to give YouTube what it demands. And on the weekends, I really focus on my family and on my kids, but we're all doing good. We will do an updated day in the life. I would love to sit down and do an updated Q&A for you guys too. Thank you for always being patient and understanding of what it looks like to be a working mom who also tries to do YouTube. We're not constant or consistent with it, but I love that you guys care, that you follow us, that you connect with us when we do post. And so thank you. I also want to say, for those of you who have followed us on Instagram and showed your support as I kind of announced and have been going through this change, thank you again for always being on our side, and for caring about us and loving us and cheering alongside us all these years. So I hope that answers everything. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer them. But moral of the story is, trust your gut, know your worth, and don't be afraid to step out and do something different. For me, I left a job that was the only thing I knew as a working adult. I started at my last organization when I was 20 years old, and I'm thankful for the growth and the opportunity that I had there. But I'm also thankful that I left, and you can have both. You can have that appreciation for the good that was there, even in the bad, and how it allowed you to step into the next things. So that's it. Love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.